at 4%. Now, let's go to initial jobless claims expected up 210,000. Darn close, 209,000. And last month revised up 2,000 to 209,000. Back-to-back 209,000. Let's look at it this way. We haven't been at 250,000 since the first week in August, just to put a face on it. And continuing claims, always a month in arrears, actually popped the handle. Expecting 1,675,000. It barely popped up above 1.7. 1,702,000. And in rearview mirror, a subtle upward revision from 1,664,000 to 1,672,000. We haven't been above 1.7 million since the second week of August when we were 1,719,000. Suffice it to say that interest rates have moved up a bit. If you were to look at a two-day chart, what you'd find is that today we are looking at two-year note futures above yesterday's high yields, never dabbled below. 10-year, on the other hand, are aiming for yesterday's highs, but still haven't come to it, but have done some work under yesterday's lows. So should we start to trade above yesterday's highs, we could call this an outside day. Technically significant. I would pay attention to that dynamic. Becky, back to you.
All right, Rick, thank you very much. Again, we're watching that jump right now in yields and a little bit of pressure on what we've seen with the futures. Stock futures have given up some of their gains, but you're still talking about them all in positive territory. Steve Leisman joins us again right now with more on what he's seeing on this. Steve, what do you think?
I'm looking over it. I mean, obviously you had a pop in gasoline prices, up 1.5%, maybe a bit less than had been expected, but still, that's a big number to the upside. I'm looking at used cars falling 2.5%, apparel falling 0.8%. Looks like there was a bit of a surprise in shelter. I just want to scroll down here and see if I
What is going on, guys?
the owner's equivalent rent. That was 0.6. Yeah, it ticked back up, which is kind of contrary to expectations. On the other hand, we did have a decline in medical services. We're down 0.3%, or sorry, up 0.3% on that. And also transportation services were up 0.7 with a 4.9% increase in airline fares. That may also be passing along higher higher fuel costs into the ticket price there. I think this is the kind of thing that tests the market's mettle for figuring out, is the Fed really done here? I think it is, and I think there is some tolerance for this kind of oscillation in the number, a bit of higher on the headline, but right in line on the year over year when it comes to services. And while I'm talking here, guys, I just want to see the Fed probabilities, if they have changed at all. And they did a little bit for December. They remain below 10% for November, and they're up slightly above 30, call it 33%. They were down below 30% before we went into the number here for December. I still think the Fed is on hold here. I think there's some tolerance. But again, as I said, the data has to behave. We have to be in this situation where the Fed can be confident that inflation is gradually coming down. But so far, what I've heard from Fed officials, the burden of proof is on hiking again, not on holding.
Okay, Steve, thank you very much.
Okay, coming up after this, you
right,
don't want to
guys.
miss this. An American business leader making it.
So you guys heard it there. Here's the breakdown. So we have the year over year slightly higher in headline. So the year over year inflation was slightly higher in headline. We got 3.7% year over year versus 3.6. Core was as expected, 4.1% year over year. And then core month over month as expected at 0.3%. But headline inflation came in slightly hotter, 0.4% month over month compared to 0.3 expected. So here's what I think is going to happen from here. I think that the Fed is actually going to pause. I don't think that the Fed is going to hike rates on November 1st. There's a less than 10% chance that the Fed actually hikes. If you look at the FOMC watch tool, which we could pull up, you could see it here for yourself. Let me pull it up for y'all. By the way, good to see you guys. Apologies for the couple of minutes late setup. I don't know. It just seems like YouTube Live and OBS, which is the software that I use to connect my cameras and whatnot. It tends to bug out from time to time, especially after the new Mac updates with all the security stuff. So apologies for that. But if you look at November 1st, you can see that there's a less than 10% chance that the Fed actually hikes. And it's even less now that it just came out. So yesterday there was about a 10% chance that the Fed would hike. Now it's a 7.5% chance the Fed would hike. I personally don't think that the Fed is going to hike again. I think they're going to keep rates there and just hold them for as long as they need to. If you see here, right now, the Fed funds rate is estimated to be at 5.33%, right? That is both higher than core inflation, which is 3.7%, headline inflation, which is 3.7%, and core inflation, which is 4.1%. And traditionally, the Fed has always paused when the Fed funds rate was above both of those things, even when inflation itself isn't at 2%, when the headline is not at 2%, which is the Fed's stated goal, right? So in this case, I do think that the Fed is just going to pause, and I think that they are going to potentially, the only way that they raise in December is if in November we get a CPI that's much hotter. But I do think that, especially on the headline number, just coming in 0.1% higher is, in my view, not going to be enough for them to hike. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Everyone should like. Yes, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Keith just said nothing burger. Yeah, it is a nothing burger, but that nothing burger is likely going to fuel, as I mentioned before, the end of the year rally. I still believe in an end of the year rally. The S&P got down to near my target. It didn't get to 4,200 exactly. The S&P got to 4,218. I was wanting a 4,100 to 4,200 in order to be able to buy back in heavily. I did issue some buys here when we got to this level, and I even said that you can buy the QQQ, which was down. Let's see, the QQQ at that time was down 10% from highs, or sorry, 10% from the recent highs, but it's down I think 12% from all-time highs. Yeah, it was down 14% from all-time highs. So I said that you could start dollar cost averaging into the QQQ, even though it's not an optimal buy point. In hindsight, it is the most optimum buy point that we will likely have, in my view, until the end of the year. So I think that the market will continue higher. Obviously, we will get a few red days here and there. I don't think there's an impetus for the market to tank. Earnings season does start tomorrow. I don't think that earnings are going to be that heavily affected. The only thing is, I do think yields are going to continue to climb just a bit. On November 1st, here's what I think the Fed will do. I think the Fed is going to pause, but they're not going to tell you that that's an indefinite pause. They're not going to tell you that we think the work is done. They said we're gonna just hold on here, and then we're gonna see for December, right? So a lot of you that want to trade, for instance, Treasury futures, you wonder when is it that you can get in. The Fed hasn't declared that the fight is over, right? Once the Fed declares the fight is over, they know that bond yields are going to crash and bonds are going to spike, because then people will start rushing into bonds in order to capture the highest percentage possible on their money, right? But right now, the Fed is not giving us any indication of when they're going to be done. And even on November 1st, they will likely say, we're just going to hold rates here and then wait for data. And then we'll see what happens in December. That's what I think. Let me know if you guys agree. I agree. Let's run and avoid a nonsensible shutdown. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a major shutdown. Hello, Z and all. What's going on? Accomplice X, Dem Hooks Travel, what's going on? MD Tahir Ahmed, what's going on? Random card breaks. Are any of you guys in Dubai, by the way? Would you guys be interested in a Dubai meetup? I don't know how many of you are in Dubai. I know some of you are. But let me know and hit that thumbs up. Has the CPI come out? Yes. Rewind the tape. The CPI came out. So let's take a look at futures. Someone said futures are falling. Right now, futures are flat as hell. They were up slightly, but they are currently flat. Now, the market doesn't open for another 45 minutes. And what I am expecting with the futures, it really is based all on the story of liquidity. We did take out the London highs, as you can see here. And we are now, for those of you that are mastermind students, we went over what makes an A+ setup yesterday. We went over market structure as well as liquidity. So you guys will be very familiar with what I'm saying here. For those of you that aren't and you want to sign up for the next mastermind, make sure that you sign up, get your name on the wait list. Mastermind 3.0 is going to be announced within the next month. Once waitlist spots are gone, they're gone. So make sure that you click the link in the description and get your name on the waitlist for Mastermind 3.0. For those of you that were in the Mastermind class last night, amazing class, by the way. You guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. So we took London highs here, right? This right here is a liquidity sweep, and that means that we are likely going to be heading for the next major liquidity zone. Now, I definitely don't trust an initial red folder day move. So I would much rather wait for market to open. But if you could take a front run risk at a short, if we retrace back to this level, this is on ES, which is the S&P 500, right? And obviously you can trade futures now. You can't trade options now. You're going to have to wait 45 minutes, which is one of the advantages of trading futures. But I would potentially entertain a short at a retest of this level here. And if we pull a Fibonacci, you could see that our golden pocket falls right in the middle of this fair value gap. So I would definitely entertain that. It's not, again, if you don't want the heat, do not trade today. Today's not a day to trade. If you want the heat, there is a potential high reward. And when I say high risk, I don't mean it's a high risk in terms of money. This is less than an 8-point stop. So each contract will cost you less than $400 if you take this. And you get stopped out, but it's high risk in the sense that you are trading during a red folder day news break. So I would not trust the moves as if it's just a regular market day. That's all I'm saying. That's what I mean by high risk. I don't mean high risk in terms of how much money you can lose. All right, let me get to do you guys have any questions? Would hit like 1,000 times if I could. Appreciate it. Should we close that credit spread? Why would you close it? I mean, you could do what you want, but why would you close it? Lifetime membership is the best investment you can make. Appreciate you. Retire today. And I'm hopefully trying to make everybody retire today. Although trading is a long game, but that is my goal. Just slightly hot. Yes, just slightly hot on headline inflation. This was such a non-surprise, so will be interesting how market reacts. Who you got for UFC 294? I mean, I don't like the last-minute changes. But I mean, shout out to Kamaru for taking a last-minute fight with Hamzat. If you take a last-minute fight with Hamzat on short notice, you're a brave person. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's see what kind of retracement we get on ES. If we can get a retracement up here, I would potentially take this. Really depends on how we displace. If we start shooting up with displacement, that will make it less likely that I take this. It really depends on how we creep up here. Because there's a chance that if we zoom out, let's take a look at the larger liquidity picture here. Let's go to the 4-hour. And the reason I'm zooming out is because I want to get a high time frame bias. I mean, high time frame, this definitely looks bullish, right? We have a bullish market structure making higher highs and higher lows. But I'm trying to see if we are coming across a major stopgap, right? So here you have a daily fair value gap, which we are running into. So, would be strange for price to just blow past this without regard for it. Ideally, what would be healthiest is if we see a retracement here before another move long. But yeah, we are within the daily fair value gap. Let me see what Nasdaq looks like. Sometimes Nasdaq will give you the clue ahead of time, or vice versa. Yeah, it's the same exact thing. Okay. So here's why I would now actually be reluctant to short this. At least the Nasdaq. S&P might be slightly different. On the Nasdaq, we did not take out highs. And I would like to see these highs taken before entertaining a short, because there's a lot of liquidity that rests up here. So this here looks like a potential power of three, right? You have the consolidation, and then you have the manipulative move, which can be followed up by the actual distribution, right? After the manipulation. So, and the fact that we didn't break highs on Nasdaq. So actually I'm canceling that. For me, I wouldn't, even though it could play out, I'm not taking that in good conscience, because if Nasdaq wants to keep running past these highs, I doubt that S&P is going to get to this fair value gap and tank. So the fact that we didn't take out highs on Nasdaq is making me worry of a play here. We'll see. Let me look at RTY. Yeah. All right, so the dollar spiked a bit, likely because actually I'm not sure why the dollar spiked. Usually the dollar and interest rates will move hand in hand, but if the inflation data came out and it wasn't too terrible and there was no expectation that the Fed might raise again, I'm not sure why the dollar would be spiking, although it just did take liquidity here. So if the dollar starts tanking, I do think that the indices can start pumping. So I would be reluctant to short here. You might get a reaction off this, by the way. You might get a reaction off this and grab a few points for a scalp. But it's not a broad-based short for me. Any opinion on Birkenstock IPO? Undervalued? You're crazy, bro. Upcoming IPO for Ripple. What do you mean, okay, upcoming IPO for Ripple? Aisha, what's going on? Dollar looks like a fake out. Yeah, it definitely took liquidity above resistance. Hazy Gold has taken highs. Do you think it could be shorted? We recently had a long on gold, which is doing really well. Might close it. Actually, I don't want to close that out today. But why would you short this? I'm very curious. What about the setup looks like is shortable? And gold hit what highs? I mean, gold actually hit a 2023 low, and it's bouncing off of there. What highs are you talking about? What about it? Kashish, gold spot. Like, what about it? Will SPY fall till 420 anytime soon? It was at 420. It was at 420 for an entire week. And like I said, that might not be the bottom, but that's an optimal point to add. What percent low of recent high do you want before buying shares of any company? I don't know. It depends on the company. I'm concerned that Iran will get involved, then US will go after them, then Taiwan. I don't know what Taiwan has to do with it, honestly, but yeah, I mean, if Iran gets involved, it's a much, much, much bigger conflict, of course, because then it involves Lebanon, then it involves potentially Russia, because Russia and Iran are allies, right? So yeah, it might turn into a much bigger conflict. What about NQ? I was just going over NQ. Oil is up 1.6%. Yeah, I do like a trade in oil here. I do like a trade in oil here. I think oil is going to go up from here. We're making higher highs and higher lows, and I think oil will likely bounce from here. I might enter a CL trade today. Are you looking at potential Tesla earnings play next week? Yeah, of course. And that earnings play might come in the form of, you guessed it, an iron condor. I think an iron condor on Tesla, which is something that I routinely do because people think that Tesla's going to somehow rocket on earnings. An iron condor has been the play on Tesla. Do you see Tesla 280 before earnings? Oh, how could anybody tell you that? That's not how TA works. What do you think about IWM? In what sense, man? Ask a specific question. Is it a good time to buy TLT? In my view, yes. I think, and that's why I did a video about bonds talking about AGG and TLT. I think that it is a good time to buy TLT. Now, people think that they're going to make insane amounts of money with TLT. I'm just here to tell you, you're not. TLT, because they don't understand TLT. And so they look at this in April of 2020, during the peak of COVID, and they somehow think that TLT is going to get back there. TLT is not going back there, okay? I'm here to tell you right now, TLT is not going back there. Now, could it routinely trade near $100? Yeah, it could. It could routinely trade near $100. And that's likely where it's going to go. But people look at this and they think that they don't even understand what TLT is. And they look at this and they're like, man, TLT is going to get back to 170 and I'm going to be rich because I'm going to double my money. No, TLT is never going back here. Understand that. This is COVID, right? This is a once in a lifetime event where interest rates were dropped to 0 and we printed $8 trillion, right? That's never going to happen again. Not in our lifetime. And if it does, we're pretty much effed. Like the economy's done. So, buying TLT, you're buying it for the dividend and you're buying it for the hope that interest rates stopped hiking. And that, hopefully that puts pressure on yields to stay steady. And then once the Fed starts cutting, hopefully that puts pressure on yields to drop a little. And when yields drop, then TLT is going to go up slightly. But don't expect you to make a ton of money for it. Like it will hover in the low 100, maybe in the high 90s. Like that's how TLT usually trades in a 5% plus interest rate environment. Love your Tesla video. I needed that. Yeah. Appreciate it. Good morning, Z. How's Dubai? It's awesome, especially the food. Do you still think the S&P will fall before a rally? I I mean, as I said before, you're dealing in the fringes. Like if I told you that I think the S&P is going to be 4,100 to 4,200 and the S&P hit 4,218, well, now you're dealing within the very fine margins, bro. It's like, how could I already what I estimated from this Head and Shoulders pretty much happened. Obviously not exactly, but no one's going to get it exactly. So if I said 4,100 to 4,200, and if the final leg down was 4,218, which we spent a week here, that could be the extent of it. I mean, you're dealing in the margins, when you're talking about this level here and when you're talking about this level here, right? So my hope was that we'd get to this level for a perfect scenario. The market is not going to provide you a perfect scenario every time. So can the market drop? Yeah. I mean, if earnings come out and they're terrible and Apple, Microsoft, Tesla are barely keeping their head above water in Q3, and it looks like Q4 is going to be worse, then yes, of course, the market can drop. I personally think, as I said time and time again, October will likely be the bottom for the market until a recession happens. That's what I think. You got it pretty bullseye. I appreciate you, Random Card Breaks. Seems consumers are pulling back, so we might see earnings effect reflect that. I think that's wishful thinking. I think people have been thinking that for 2 years now. I'm curious about GLD. Any chance you could do a little tech analysis live? Yeah, Katya, I talked about GLD, and I even put it in the I put it here a couple days ago in the stock alerts. By the way, if you guys want access to all of these alerts and all of the day trades, I guarantee you won't find a group like this where we trade options, futures, day trades, long-term analysis. Nobody has the collective knowledge that we do on things like oil, on interest rates, on treasuries. So if you want to take your trading to the next level, click the link in the description. Use the code monthly, and I think that'll get you less than $100 a month for life, I believe. Let me know if the code doesn't work, but use that link in the description. But yeah, Katya, I mean, I think as I said in my post, this right here is a major level for gold, and especially with the geopolitical conflict now going on, I do think gold will likely continue to rally as uncertainty hits, right? Are we going to get back to 190 on GLD? I don't know. Especially if interest rates are paused, I think there will likely be a big pouring into treasuries once interest rates are paused. Because if interest rates are paused, like, understand that people are going to be scrambling to get that yield, right? And then that's if people are dumping their money in treasuries, then that takes away from gold. Also, rates pausing will have an effect on Dixie. So if you take a look at, if you compare gold to the dollar, for instance, right? I want you to look at something. It moves exactly inverse. Here's gold tanking and here's the dollar spiking, right? It moves almost exactly inverse. So if interest rates are paused, I don't think that'll have, like, I think dollar will start dropping, but not like when interest rates start getting cut. So as the dollar drops, you're going to see gold continue up, right? But with the geopolitical conflict, it becomes a question of are interest rates the only thing that are going to move the dollar, or is the geopolitical conflict, depending on how bad it gets, also going to move the dollar? but like I said in my post, regardless of whether this is the bottom for GLD or not, this is definitely a good dollar cost average point. You're probably better off, if you do want real gold exposure, you're probably better off actually buying gold, like physical gold, right? Because GLD is you're just speculating on price. But, it clearly bounced off of the February, March 2023 lows. And that is a decent buy point if you want GLD in your portfolio. It's very hard to predict whether it will get back to 190 in short time because it will be based on the dollar. And the dollar will be based on not only interest rates, but on the geopolitical climate, right? I hear different opinions on moving to Dubai, and ultimately I'd have to visit. But do you know how the cost of living is compared to the U.S.? You're in Chicago? If you're in Chicago, I mean, Chicago's not as expensive as LA or New York, or certainly San Francisco. But I mean, Dubai is expensive. Now, if you have a U.S. salary and you live in Dubai, you're doing better than most people. Like the average salary here is not as high as it is for an average professional salary in a big city in the US. So Dubai is definitely expensive if you are making a Dubai salary. I'll just put it that way. If you are somehow able to retain your US salary, you can move to Dubai. And also $110,000 of your money is tax exempt. So say that you're working a job in the US and you make, I don't know, let's just say you make $125,000 a year, or even in trading, right? Remember, $500 a day is about $125,000 a year job, which is still mind blowing that people go for, these crazy home runs, knowing that $500 a day will literally clean up for you and provide you the same amount of money as $125,000 a year. If say you're making $125,000 a year in Dubai, $110,000 of it is tax free, right? $110,000 of it is tax free. So you'd only pay tax on $15,000 if you made 125, right? If you made $200,000, again, $110,000 of it is tax free, and you'd only pay tax on $90,000 as an American. Dubai's tax free for non-US folks. Yes, of course. But if you're from the US and you have a US passport, IRS is going to chase your ass all the way to Dubai. So, yeah, Dubai is tax free for non-US folks. But Aisha's from Chicago. You still have to pay your U.S. taxes. Yes, bro. But you get $110,000 of your U.S. taxes tax free. Does that make sense? So if you're making $120K, 110 of it is in your pocket. As an American, I mean. I'm not talking about from Dubai's perspective. I mean from an American perspective. It's called the expat deduction or whatever. So, or expat exception. So 110,000 is tax free, and you would just pay tax on the extra 10,000. Does that make sense? And yes, if you're trading futures, Leonardo Fernandez says, if you're trading futures, that is the strategy. Because remember, one of the advantages of futures is what? 60% is taxed as long-term capital gains. See what I said? This ain't magic, guys. I said there's a scalp from here. You can scalp a few points from here. You guys think every time I hop on, you guys think this is magic. This ain't magic. And this is stuff that we teach all the time. Not only daily in the Discord, but in the mastermind. Now, whether this move stays or not, again, I want to see NQ take these highs. I'm not comfortable with a broad-based short unless NQ takes these highs, and there's half an hour left for market open, so I'm not in a rush. But like I said, you could have scalped a few points off of this area that I had marked. You would have, you could have scalped. Wow, that is actually more than a scalp, but you could have scalped around 8 points on S&P futures, which is about a $400 per contract gain, right? And you'd be out right now, by the way. Danish tax will also chase you all the way to Dubai. I didn't know that, Katya. I thought that most European countries, if you left Europe, that you don't have to pay tax. But that's wild. I thought America was the only one where your tax chases you. Because I have friends from the UK who live in the US and they don't pay UK tax. They definitely pay US tax because they make money in the US, but they don't pay UK tax. Would you short JPN 225? I don't even know what that is, bro. What is that? What's JPN 225? Is that Forex? I'm longing NQ 382 to the highs, Joe Bathgate says. Bro, Joe Bathgate is brave. Let's see. How did you let me try and figure out how you came up with that level. Wait, we didn't get to 382 yet. How did you come up with that level, brother? Is it just this order block here? Are you just taking 50% of this order block here? That's what I think you're doing. Let me see if I'm right. That's my entry. I knew that's what you were doing, bro. Now down Sadak down. Now down Sadak down. I have no idea what that means. Do you trade SPY or QQQ options or just ES? Yeah, but how are you going to trade SPY or QQQ now? That's why futures are the best. And they are the most accurate. Options are not that accurate, bro. Well, did that enter you, Joe? I think that this move here, oh man, if you got bottom ticked, no, bro. Hopefully it fills for you because it got down to, okay, that should have filled you right there. That should have filled you right there. I like that long, bro. I don't hate it. It is hard when you don't take sell side liquidity, but I like that long. I don't hate it. I don't like it as much as I liked the scalp that I called out from this level. But I don't mind it, especially because your stop limit can be pretty tight on this one, and there's a lot to gain. But yeah, I do think we will take out these highs on NQ, or I hope we do. It will make trading for the day a lot easier. In most European countries, we can leave, sign off from our home country, and not need to pay tax. Bro, do you know, Samir, what you would have to do for that to happen in the U.S.? You would have to renounce your U.S. passport. I swear to God, I'm not lying. And you'll never get it back. You can't get your if you renounce your U.S. passport, you can never get it back. Now, if you were a European and U.S. citizen, maybe you don't care because you're like, I already have another good citizenship. But for people like me who only have the U.S. citizenship, bro, you're not. There's no way you're doing that. Like, I would be like, who was it? Tom Hanks that played in The Terminal. That guy that lived in the airport for like 25 years. That'd be me, bro. I'd be living in the airport with no passport and no citizenship if I did that. Um, no ES on Quest Trade. Bro, just get on Interactive Brokers. Why are you on Quest Trade? See, I've been highlighting order blocks, including the wick. I noticed you only did the body. I have been doing it wrong this whole time. It's not necessarily wrong. It's, to me, what is optimal. The wicks do count, but it's a matter of taste. It's a matter of taste. For me, if the price action doesn't respect the body, then it's likely not going to respect the wicks, and the trade becomes less optimal. Buying a cash secure put for Tesla 250, you can't buy a cash secure put, bro. You'd have to sell it. I do you like Lily for a long play? Karen B says, let's see. What? Karen, what you talking about? Do I like Lily for a long play? It's at all-time highs. No. And then someone was asking about Adobe. And I say no because I don't make a habit of buying at all-time highs. That's just wild. Bro, why are you guys sending me these stocks that are like near all-time highs? Okay. Adobe. What was your question about Adobe? Do I think it keeps going up? This pattern is fucking wild. This Batman pattern here. Do I like that? No, because obviously this can turn into a head and shoulders. So on Adobe, I would pretty much wait and see. This is not a pattern that I would be comfortable trading. I needed to either make a head and shoulders and get back to the neckline, and then I make an assessment there. Or I need to see it in a more predictable market structure, right? Right now it's ranging, so there's no story, there's no market structure story here. It made a higher high, a lower low, a higher high, then a lower low, and now it's making a lower high. So, I would much rather see a better story with market structure. It's hard for me to just long this here. You want all-time low stocks? No, bro. Look at my play on Oxy. Oxy's currently trading in the 60s. I ended up buying it when it hit the major support line, and when I know that Warren Buffett continues to add Oxy below $60. So we added Oxy around the 56, 57 range. It's not that I want all-time low. Just like I was saying with Tesla, when is a good buy point, right? I told you that this retracement here was a great buy point for Tesla. It's a 50% retracement of the last run, right? This is an all-time low for Tesla. It's just the pattern for me is more definable than something like Adobe right now. Batman. Jacob 32 says, I have sold a call spread on Lily and LRCX at all-time highs. Okay. Check out ChargePoint. What about it? The reason I asked is because I'm on a Lily call out to 424, up 400% right now. I mean, most people's problem, Karen, is that they let their winners go too soon. As soon as they see green, they just sell. The fact that you're up 400% and you're just holding like a chief, you don't have that problem. You have an opposite problem. What about selling a call spread on Lily? Why, guys? Why? What is the trade? I want to make sure you get out of bad habits, okay? Longing at the high is bad habit. Shorting at the high just because it's a high is a bad habit. Why are you shorting this? Just because it moved up, so it must come down? Ask people who tried to short NVIDIA. Ask them how that happened. How did that work out, trying to short NVIDIA from 160 all the way to $500? You know, ask people who shorted Tesla how that worked out. That's just gambler's fallacy. Think SPY will come down to 4,200 by end of month, bro? That's not how TA works, bro. And no, I don't think it will come down unless earnings are bad. Do you realize that most people here tune in to hear and probe your views? Funny Money Brit says. Yeah, bro, but yes, I get what you're saying, of course, and I appreciate that. I'm saying that I'm trying to stop people from making bad habits. That's all. It's called tough love, bro. I'm not. Obviously, yes, I know, and I appreciate you reminding me. It's just called tough love. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to get people not to get into those bad habits that cause retail traders to lose a ton of money. You seen Zom for a play today? You mean like for a day trade? I don't know. It really depends on how it behaves here. You have pre-market highs and pre-market lows. And also Funny Money Brit, like I do these live streams for free. I try to provide education for free, right? Like, yeah, I know sometimes my style is it seems a bit like funny or sarcastic or tough love or whatever. But my main goal is to educate people. Again, I appreciate you saying that. I really do. But you know, it's just I'm providing a little bit of humor, but also trying to make sure to drill it into people's heads to stop bad retail trading habits that people get caught up and lose a lot of money. And if nobody's going to tell you, I'm going to tell you that, you know, I've been around a long time, so I know what bad habits can lead to. And I just don't want anybody to lose money. That's all, bro. All right, thoughts on Netflix short here. Let's see. I think there isn't an optimal short here. Not a broad-based short. If you're talking about intraday, I mean, look, for me, I can't just enter a long or short on a whim, right? There has to be structure around that play. And I would be also not happy to enter short at a major support resistance line, right? This used to be major resistance, now a support. I would like to see Netflix break down and then come up for a retracement. It's very hard for me to short something at support like this. TLT here, yes. I already talked about TLT, bro. Rewind the tape. Yes. But again, TLT is not going to make you rich. Rosie says, I like your style. I appreciate you, Rosie. Pluto Neptune says, you can be rude, though. Bro. All right. You want me to tone it down, Pluto Neptune? Okay. I will be as stone-faced and stoic as you'd like. RH thoughts. Please ask me a more specific question than just thoughts. Z's like the headmaster who gives out tough love because many of you newbie traders need it. Your view on SoFi stock. Guys, please, please, please ask me a more specific question. I beg you, instead of just thoughts or whatever. Because here's why I'm asking that. Like, you could be asking me for day trade. You could be asking me for a swing trade. You could be asking me for an earnings play. You could be asking me for, do I like the company's fundamentals? Do I like their growth? Do I like their PE ratio? Do I like their valuation? You could be asking me if I just like their chart and nothing else. Like, I can dive into an hour-long conversation on each ticker symbol. But tell me exactly what it is that you want me to look at, please. I appreciate you. Would you long ES based on that current low? No, I wouldn't. No. Not just based on this low. No. That would have been a fire ass play, the play that I called out, that I thought, was good for a scalp. Now, the reason that I was uncomfortable taking a broad base short was, like I said, on Nasdaq, we still had these highs to break. Now, I wouldn't long, NQ or ES just off of this. I would need to see a break in structure, right? So one of the things that we teach here is market structure. And for A+ setups, you need to find market structure on at least the 5-minute. And by the way, if you guys want to join the next mastermind, make sure that you get your name on the wait list, see if you're approved. You'll find out instantly if you're approved after you answer a couple of questions here. But Mastermind 3.0 is about to open up. So, or signups are about to open up. So get your name on the wait list. But in this case, no, bro, I wouldn't long this just blindly. I need to see, if I am going to long this for the way that I trade, I would need to see a break of structure and then a retracement. Obviously, you can long anytime you like and just take a stab at it, right? But that's not real trading. At that point, you're just trying something, which, again, I'm not opposed to, because your stop limit can be pretty close to your entry, right? So if your stop limit was something like that, I'm not opposed to trying that. It's just, you have to make a distinction between, are you just taking a stab at something, or is this a trade that actually fits any of your criteria, right? And in this case, the way that most people ask these questions, they're just trying to take a stab at something. Again, which is fine, but just know that that is not trading. Okay, just know that that's not trading. You can take a stab at something once in a while if you have a proven strategy where you can implement it time and time again. But then you also see an opportunity where you could take a low risk stab, where in this case your stop limit would be 3 points on ES, which is $150 per contract. Yeah, you can take it. It doesn't mean you can't. Just you have to make that distinction. From when you're really trading to when you're just trying something. And it also is going to have a bearing on your position size, right? Like when I'm just taking a stab at something, my position size is very small. So hopefully that helps. Z, what do you think? Paolo, I'm not sure if you're just trolling me right now, bro. Do you think SoFi stock is passing 9? What you mean, like ever? Yeah, of course. I mean, at some point, yeah. I mean, it's trading at 8.7. So do I think it will pass 9? I mean, yeah. That's only 30 cents away. Do you expect a third leg down? Priyanka, I answered this like 3 times already. So rewind the tape and go over my S&P analysis. I believe RH bottomed at 227. I'm thinking 50% retracement in the works. Market opens in 4 minutes, by the way. Oh my God. Why did Restoration Hardware take such a hit like that? I don't even know what their valuation is. Let me see. Their PE is kind of high, even after this drop. I don't like this company. Just looking off the surface. Like, I get it. People get caught up because they look at a chart and they're like, oh, this used to be, 743 and now it's 250. It must be a good deal. No, there's plenty of stocks that have never recovered. I've done a whole video on that, by the way. Stocks that have never recovered. Revenue growth abysmal, in the toilet. So you have minus 18% revenue growth, minus 38% EBITDA growth. I really, really, really implore you guys to try to value a company, or try to find out how to value a company on the surface. I actually do have, I have 3 or 4 PDFs for free. Let me see if I can get that to you. How can I get that to you? I have 3 or 4 PDFs for free that show you how to value a company. If you're in the Discord, you'll see it might be under education. I think it's at the top. But if you guys are not in the Discord, I want to try and find you a way to get that. But yeah, how to read a 10K financial statement, how to research a stock market glossary, and how to value a stock. These are all in the education section. So if you're in the Discord, just go to the education section and click there. If you're not in the Discord, I will try and find a way to get you this. Actually, 1 second. Let me text somebody and see if. One second. What is? Okay, I'm gonna get you that. I'm gonna get you that info in a second. But yeah, speaking of Restoration Hardware, no, based on just a rough look at this company, it looks like garbage. I'll be honest. And even even though it was trading at 750, even at 250, it's overvalued. Now, before COVID, it's important to remember that it had such a huge spike during COVID when, remember, people were buying homes like crazy. Interest rates were 0. Everyone was sitting at home. People were buying new furniture for the house, whether it was office furniture or furnishing their new house, right? There was a bunch of Airbnb rentals that were bought. So there's a reason that Restoration Hardware actually had rocketed, right? 1 second. There was a reason that Restoration Hardware actually had rocketed. But look at where it was trading before COVID. Like, the stories are so important when you're looking to invest. Restoration Hardware is a stock that routinely traded in the low hundreds. Then it had a little bit of a spike in 2018 to like the 150s. And then even before COVID came down below 100, right? So Restoration Hardware, you could say that it normally trades, if we're being fair, between 80 and really only spent a few moments at 150, but between 80 and 140 is when it normally trades. During COVID, it saw this spike. So this to me is an unnatural spike. And people look at a stock like this because they're like, oh, it used to be high, now it's low. So I'm just going to buy it and pray that it gets back to 700. That's not how it works. Okay. So if you follow me on Instagram, the link is in the description of this video, and DM me the word bundle, BUNDLE. If you're not in the Discord, I will send you this stuff for free, okay? So go to my Instagram, follow me, and just send me a DM with the one word, bundle. Not bundle, please, or please send me bundle. Just the word bundle, okay? And I'll send you these PDFs. And that way you can find out how to analyze a company. If you're in the Discord, it's just in the education section. So hopefully that helps. All right. Market open. Yes. Do you have recordings of Mastermind 2.0? Yes. You have to be a Mastermind student, but all the Mastermind recordings are here. Yeah. And even if you sign up for the next Mastermind, you'll still get access to all previous and post Mastermind. Market is open. Let me take a look at the market. So that short would have worked out beautifully, even more than the scalp that I was intending. Now, what we're waiting for, since we established the low, okay, and again, this is stuff that we talk about every single day. This is stuff that we teach in the mastermind, every single mastermind. This is stuff that I go over in the live trading calls with the Discord that we do every single week. So what we're waiting on, we established this low at 830, right? This is the 830 low. We want to see price get taken out before a long. We want to see price get taken out. Which it's doing now. So we are sweeping the 8:30 a.m. liquidity, 8:30 a.m. New York time, okay? And now what you want to see before longing is you want to see price break above this previous lower high. You want to see price break above it, and then a retest. And that retest is what you want to long. So we'll see. And if we don't get that market structure break, then the market will likely want to keep making lower lows. And we'd probably be targeting this liquidity here. 43.7725 on ES. Let's see what the Nasdaq looks like. Okay, so Nasdaq hasn't taken this low yet. This is interesting. So we immediately have divergence on the Nasdaq and ES. I just need to send this out in the Discord real quick. Come on, man. So this right here is actually bullish when you see one of the indices make lower lows and the other indice make higher lows. This is actually bullish. So obviously NQ is a lot stronger than ES right now. But I would be more likely to long ES when the time is right. All right, so Meta's already below its pre-market low. A lot of times what you see is a fake move below pre-market low. So the pre-market low is here. So you want to see Meta take out the pre-market low and see if there's a market structure shift to the other side. Yeah, I'm not longing this without confirmation on market structure. Definitely not. On both ES or NQ, which is SPY or QQQ. I need confirmation here. One of our analysts sent out a potential long. NQ broke market structure, stop move to PE. Wow, check RTY too. Big run down to yesterday. Oh my God, Scotty. That is just it's like it just found the nearest cliff and jumped off. No regard for life. It was just like, yep, I'm jumping off. There's not even a retracement in sight. Oh my God. Crazy. Funny enough, VIX isn't even elevated today. Dixie is a bit up, and then the 10-year is up. Likely because Dixie's likely up because the 10-year is up. I'm gonna wait for a potential long play. Again, we don't long without confirmation. So would you be long on Meta for a swing trade? No, not yet. I mean, it did take the liquidity that you want to see it take. If you are going to long, this is the first thing you want to see, but not the only thing you want to see. So not yet. Not yet. You got to wait for confirmation. You can't just haphazardly long things. My God, that short from earlier, the short from here that I had called out, ooh, would be up so much right now. But I have to stick to my trading principles. Thoughts on Netflix, please. Please ask me a more specific question, Pratik, than just thoughts. Paolo says manipulation. Not really, bro. I think I think this is so far the move. I don't think there's manipulation down before a move up. There's still hella divergence between NQ and ES. I did that short. Amazing, Joshua. Maybe now until it reaches 43.95, then wait for confirmation to go along. What's at 43.95? You mean actually I don't know what's at 43.95 besides this block of orders here. Until this divergence disappears between NQ and ES, I'm still hella suspicious. I'm not taking a position, but I would need to see NQ, that divergence has to be resolved. Like it is now. Hit the like button. Help others find this valuable content. Yeah, I appreciate you. Z hates my specific questions. What did you ask, Ruff? Rough look at Love Sack. Low PE still growing. What am I missing? The fact that it has the word sack in its name. Yeah, who said you're missing anything? I mean, it looks like it has no cash. That's for sure. 6.7 mil. That's it. Dude's going to make me look at a company called SAC. I mean, how about the fact that it's not profitable? Like last earnings are reported earnings per share of negative 0.105. So, yeah, I mean, probably the market is sick of it not being profitable the last 2 quarters when it used to be profitable. It actually had 1 profitable quarter in the last 4 quarters. So, and it looks like it has no cash. I mean, it doesn't seem crazy to me. Can we open a put credit spread on Netflix for next week? Yeah, you could do whatever you like, Pratik. Nobody's stopping you, bro. Do you think Nvidia reaches 600 eventually? Yeah. Is there a play for Tesla at all today? Well, the market just opened. Let's see. Not yet. No. Not yet. We did take out the pre-market low And now you just want to see if there's a potential for a long here, right? So you want to see a nice market structure shift and then a retracement. But most of trading, bro, is just wait and see. Like, I know people want to get into as many positions as possible. I swear to God, most of trading is wait and see. Ask those people who are in the Discord. The win rate is super high, but I barely take a trade every single day. Like, I might have one trade every day. And then obviously we have two other analysts, but you want to see what Tesla does if it gets here, because if it gets here and continues below this low, then it's another wait and see. There, you just can't make a play yet. How much are our vertical credit spreads up on SPY? Thinkorswim is not running well on my computer, so I'm gonna have to check it from here. But the SPY credit spreads, they should be up. Oh, it's break even right now. Yeah. So we're definitely rejecting off this daily fair value gap. Let me get my where's display? Man, 1 second. Sorry, just 1 second. Okay. Tesla versus TLT. What about it? They're not even remotely the same. Sound sucks? Does it? I think the sound is good. What website did you research Lovesac just now? Seeking Alpha. I wouldn't play poor men leaps on Tesla. That is not the way to go, bro. That is not the way to go. Why would you do that? Why would you forego 50% dividend by playing options that won't pay you anywhere near the same? When you're trading options, you don't get the dividend. I hope you know that. Doesn't VIX not really moving tell us something? Yeah, what does it tell you? CPI already came out. Everything else came out. Like, what's the market fearful of right now? All the economic data that is supposed to scare us isn't really that bad. Sound is good. I saw you read my question. What did you ask, Vina? Earnings? Yeah, but earnings aren't out yet, David. And I don't think anyone expects them to be terrible. Show me anyone credible who expects earnings to be terrible. And if most people don't expect earnings to be terrible, they're not going to bet on the possibility of earnings being terrible. About PayPal recovery, I don't know what your question was. I'm sorry. You're asking if PayPal is going to recover? Likely not. I don't think PayPal will ever get back to $300. If that's what you're asking me. Yeah, I don't think it will ever get back to $300. I mean, PayPal before, COVID was trading in the 70s. It did go up to 100 and some. Like, I think it will recover. Will it get back to 300? I don't think so. Can it get back to 100? Yeah, I think eventually. But PayPal has no way of making money right now. It's it's not a big bank that has all the resources like a JP Morgan Chase. I took the short on NQ at 15.404, got 11 points. Thoughts and prayers on Palantir. Yeah, thoughts and prayers. Great desktop. Monkey, shut up. Okay. It would be epic if we can get a long setup today. There is a little bit of divergence here. All right. Love you, bro. I'm your biggest fan. Hope one day I get upgraded to an air conditioner. What you mean? I don't know what you mean, bro. Upgraded to an air conditioner. I don't know what you mean, man. I love scalping divergence. Yeah, that divergence right there is heavy. Also, now I'm checking on our SPY credit spreads. What? Okay, they're up a lot today. but percentage-wise from open, they're still like overall percentage profit, they're still minimal. All right. I'm going to be looking for a trade, potentially a long. I'm not sure yet. Would have been awesome if I took that short. I probably would not have held it all the way down here. I would have taken profit at 44.08. But we still have that divergence. So I'm going to likely be looking for a long at some point. Hopefully it is something that we get confirmation with. On a trend day like this, you cannot just blindly long. And then I'll send it out in the Discord. So again, if you guys want this stock market bundle and you are not in the Discord and you want to learn how to value a company, just follow me on IG, DM me the word bundle. I promise you I'll send it to you absolutely free. How to value a stock, stock market glossary, how to research a stock, and then how to read a 10K financial statement with an example from Apple. If you want to learn how to trade and call the markets like we do, where you see me tell you that I think, it's a short play or I think it's a long play or we took liquidity here, so we're likely going the other way, and you want to learn more about these concepts, make sure that you click the link in the description and make sure that you get your ass on the wait list for Mastermind 3.0 that we're going to be announcing within the next few weeks for release at some point next month. Mastermind 2.0 is going on right now, as a matter of fact. And if you guys just want access to the Discord, make sure that you sign up below and put in the code monthly to get a fat discount for life. So make sure that you do that as well. But yeah, I'm going to send out the plays. Gonna let them play out. This divergence still exists. This bullish divergence between ES and NQ. But I just need confirmation before taking it long. So make sure that you keep your eyes and ears peeled in the Discord if you are in the Discord, and you should see that play. And other than that, appreciate you guys for joining so much, super early especially. Hope you got something out of this. Leave a like on your way out, and I will catch you on the next one. And for those of you in the Discord, I'll see you in a second. All right, peace.